And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan Metzler here again, coming to you from a new location. It's been quite a while since I filmed a review, but I've moved to a new house. You can see I have some new cool game shelves behind me. I've got a new camera, and we're going to try out a little bit of a new perspective on the intros and outros, as you can see right here. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a two-player card game. That game is called Tessen. It's right here. It is a card game, as I said, for two players, in which players are going to be speedily trying to go ahead and make points. They're going to make points by playing sets of animals out in front of them in 5 different slots, which means they can only have 5 different types of cards out at the same time. Correspondingly, they're also going to have cards that they can use to attack their opponent, to try and steal cards from them, or prevent them from being able to play their cards out in order to make sets of at least 3, and save them to score them at the end of the round. So real quick, why don't we take a look at what you get inside of this small little box. We'll see how the game plays, and then we'll come back here at the end and we'll get my opinions on Tessen. So here you can see the game of Tessen set up. Now we have one player's deck here and the other player's deck by me. And of course I can't show you the speed aspect of the game because I can't simply play 2 decks at the same time. But I will show you how this plays. So at the start you're going to call the round start, whatever you want to say. And you're going to draw cards from the top of your deck, one at a time until you get up to 5, or at any point you can stop, but as long as you don't have more than 5 cards in your hand. Now in this deck there are several different types of cards. You're going to have animals, and there's several different types of animals. This one is a pheasant or something, some type of bird. And you're going to have other animals like deer, and then you're going to have warrior cards, which are these ones right here. And there are one other type of card, or there's one other type of card that's a super warrior that has a blue fan instead of a red fan. Now when you grab these cards, you're going to be trying to play them out to 5 slots in front of you. You're going to have these slots out here. Clearly they're empty now, but you can have up to 5, which means you can have 5 different animals out them. And as you play, you're going to keep drawing more cards. And you're going to try and make sets with these cards. So I'd play another pheasant here, another deer there, and keep drawing. I would play 2 foxes here, and continue on like this, as fast as possible. At the same time, my opponent is of course going to be doing the same thing with their hand of cards, never having more than 5 in their hand, but playing them out to the table. So they can maybe play a fox, and another fox, and another fox. Now, if you get up to 3 cards in a pile, you can say save, and you're going to take all of those cards, you're going to set them to the side, and that will go into your score pile for the end of the round. So you're trying to make sets of at least 3. Obviously, the bigger the set that you can make and the faster you can make it, the better. And as you do this, you're still going to be drawing back up. Now, I showed you these warriors that you're going to have in your hand. I could, for example, play this pheasant down, and then maybe I decide to attack my opponent with a warrior. I can play this warrior in front of their pheasants here. If they don't have a warrior to respond with immediately, they cannot draw any more cards, they must immediately have the warrior to respond with, they are going to lose these cards to me. I'm going to be able to take them and place them in my own play area. Now I have a set of 3, and I could save it. If they did have a warrior to respond with, they could say that they're going to defend. They'd say defend, and they'd push these cards to the center of the table. And they've blocked it, and they would of course keep their pheasant cards that they had been attacked on. So, you can attack with warriors in order to hopefully steal stuff, but if they have a warrior to defend with, they're going to get to keep their things. Now, you can also play warriors on empty areas, like this. If you do this, then the opponent can clear that warrior by playing another warrior, but until they do so, they cannot place anything in this spot. So it's kind of blocking it for the purpose of not allowing them to play more cards to the table. So you're going to be speeding through, attacking and defending, blocking and clearing, hoping to get your animals out and score more points than your opponent, getting them into your score pile. And you're going to keep doing this until you go through your entire deck. When you draw the last card of your deck, you're going to say Tessen, whichever player does that first, and it will end the round. At that point, you're going to check how many cards you have in your score pile. So how many different sets of animals you've been able to make and save, putting them in your score pile, and of course count those all up, and 1 point for each one. Whoever has the most is going to be the winner of that round. They're going to search through their deck, they're going to find one of their warriors, and they're going to remove it permanently from the game. So they're going to be at 1 warrior detriment for the rest of the game. And you usually play best 2 out of 3, best 3 out of 5, so you have a little bit of a handicap for the next round. Now, in addition, as I said, each player has 1 super warrior. They look like this. The super warrior is pretty much the same as a normal warrior in all aspects of the game, except for that when you attack another animal pile with it, and an animal pile that actually has animals in it, it must either be defended with a super warrior or turned over to you immediately. So, if I attack these deer here, I need them for my own pile. Either they have a super warrior or not, and I'm going to take it, put them in my own area. If they don't, and I'll have 2 more deer. But they could again attack back and hope to steal them back later. For all other purposes, this is a normal warrior. So if I block with it, they can clear it with a normal warrior, putting it back to the center of the table. Another thing to note is that if you ever have a hand of cards that you don't want to use, you don't want to play any of them out in front of you, or you can't because you have 5 different animals out here and only different animals in your hand, you can discard to the center of the table, kind of off to the right, and those cards will be accessible to your opponent to draw and play into their own area. So anything you discard permanently from your deck for that round can be drawn by your opponent and played in their own area in order to make sets. Regardless, whoever makes sets faster is going to be the winner because they'll have more sets at the end of the round. In order to score points, we'll remove a warrior from their deck and you'll continue on with another round. There are a couple of special cards that you can include for an expansion. First, we have the Ryu card. That's this card right here. You can put this out there kind of off to the side a little bit, and instead of playing your warriors for attack or defense or blocking or clearing, you can play them out to this card. At the end of a round, whoever has the most warriors on this card will be safe, but the other player must remove 5 animals from their score pile before they count their score for the round. Those warriors that go on this card stay out for the entire game. So if you're playing a lot of warriors to this to protect yourself, you're going to be at a detriment later. We also have the Sacred Beast card that you can add in as an expansion. This one will allow you to play animals from your hand on top of this card, and at the end of the round, whatever animal is on top will be worth double points. So you can fight back and forth with your opponent to see which animal's on top, hopefully matching more of those animals in your own score pile than you do in their score pile, and get a bonus at points at the end of the round. So, a couple of different changes you can make to Tessen in order to make the game, or keep the game, fresh. So, now that I've shown you that, why don't we go see what I think of it. And there you have it. That is Tessen by Van Ryder Games. A very nice, quick little 2-player game that I enjoy quite a bit. I'm a fan of speed games. Typically, if I'm going to play a game, I either want it to be nice and deep and involved or really quick so that I can get it to the table, although of course there are exceptions to those rules. But this one plays out very nicely. Each player has their own deck of cards. You start, you go, and you just start playing cards as frantically as you can, but there's strategy to that. Sometimes you're going to want to pay attention to whether or not you think your opponent is holding on to a bunch of warriors in their hand. Do you want to use your warriors to attack their animals, hopefully either stealing them from them or forcing it so that they can't play on their own piles? Or do you want to save your warriors and defend? In addition, there's a couple of extra things that I showed you in the video. There's the Ryu card and the Sacred Beast card. One, you can use your warriors to have the most warriors on that card, and if you don't, you're going to lose points at the end of the round. On the other one, you can put some of your animal cards over there and hopefully get them to score more. So they've included some variety and some very small changes that you can make to the game in order to keep it fresh for you. So overall, I'd say a pretty good game. I have noticed a little bit of card separation in the game. The cards are kind of peeling, but that could be because we're too rough with the cards. There's other reports of it that don't seem to be out there right now. So maybe we're just a little too quick and rough in our play and we kind of tear the cards up on our own. Who knows? Don't take this as a word saying that the cards are definitely flawed. Just note that you may want to sleeve them or be careful with them because of that. But anyhow, this is a game that if you like 2-player games and you like speed games, I definitely suggest you check out. That is Tessen from Van Ryder Games.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.